If you want a program, there's hundreds and hundreds to choose from. If you want to be coached, really coached, then you need Sentinel. TrainSentinel.com. There's no better option.
There we go. How are you, Luke?
Going good. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I need a haircut. I realized that it looks like like a Lego, hair that you just pop on top.
Looks
I
like
don't
you
know
just
why.
used too much gel. That's all right.
I don't use any. It's fluff.
Yeah.
Um,
Jealous.
Hello, Matthew. I presume that's bloody hell. I'm excited for this. Not where the fuck are these two guys? Are 8 minutes late.
Yeah. Who the hell is this guy on the right?
Yeah, hair helmet. That's the thing. Craig, hello. Luke, I wanted to have you on the show for about 4 years, and you kept saying no. All
4 years.
All it took was for me to start representing you, and you're like, "Yeah, cool, I'll do a show." That's all it took. All of this is just a ruse. It's just a trick.
Yeah. Just for you to get a good 50 views on your show.
So I want the reason I wanted you on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find these things now, but there's a few different things that, what would be the right word? Ingratiated or drew my attention to you, I think, is an accurate way. God, you post a lot on your Instagram. I'm just scrolling.
Hey, I thought I don't post enough.
No, you do post. You post plenty. Where am I now? I'm back. This is Torian last year. I'm going to have to go through a year of injuries, haven't I?
Yeah, you have a 2-year gap of just absolutely boring content with about 3 likes and 1 comment, and then you go to Torian 2021.
Is this ever coming back? Is there a plan of is that right? Yeah. Is there a plan of bringing back this afro?
Oh, that in that video specifically, that is next level. That is never coming back. That is out of control. That is a mane.
Is that just not cutting? Like you just didn't cut it at all. Just like that's what it naturally does. Is just go out like Sideshow Bob.
Exactly. That's what it does. Well, it starts on the top. It gives me a bit of a cap, and then the back kind of flattens out, and then eventually it all just goes up into the big. Well, it's called a Jufro. That's the name of it.
Jufro.
Yeah, that is politically correct. You can Google that. Just a white man afro. I swear I didn't make that up.
I mean, take credit for it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Zach in this.
Yeah. Well, he was the athlete that could actually compete at the time, so it makes sense.
Look at this. That's the kind of shit. Like that's the kind of shit that I want to see. There's one particular. So like this kind of stuff, those kind of reactions. There's another one where you yawn. There, you're drinking a beer.
Yeah, I think if you go to one of my posts, I have all the videos, so it might even be a touch before that. I think if you scroll down a little bit, it might even be it's a swipe after the photo. So I think with the one where I have my arms out, it might be a swipe on that one. Nah, it's above that, but there is videos of all of them on here. It might be the next one or the one after where I show it.
Maybe here.
Okay, maybe the next one, but I promise I did post it. It's not long after those posts.
There's a specific photo from, so those kind of reactions are the things that made me think like, God, I really like this guy. But then there's a specific, this is it, man. So you missed out on qualifying for the games by like 40 points, and it happened on the last event. And this is your finishing, like your recap post. Is you standing beside the podium looking sad.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I guess for context for people that don't know what that photo's about, I was tied first going into the final event, and then I tried to send it and it blew up in my face, and I failed to make a game spot because of it. But yeah, I think we were all getting photos there, and I was just I was a bit down, but you know when you finish an event, you're like, well, I'm kind of happy because it's over, and then all your friends are there. So then I think Max had a good idea to just get a photo next to it. So I ran over, took it super quick, and then went straight to the drug testing room and then just posted it while I was in there in the first 5 minutes. And it ended up being a pretty funny post. So
are you just wearing socks?
Yeah. I took all my stuff off. I was just ready to go sit in a room for like 3 hours. So
wow. This is Z is very perceptive. Does he have a good pair of shoes? The thing, I think the thing, and a lot of this is unintentional, obviously. So the joke is that you're standing beside the podium looking sad, but there's layers to it because the whole event is being torn down behind you. Like it just instantly doesn't matter, and it's like right on to the next thing, and then there's just this depressed person in front.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here as well. I thought that when I look back at it, I was like, it's actually quite a artistic little shot.
Yeah, it's good. Butter Boys, yeah, I remember I pretty recently tagged the Buttery Bros in something and accidentally tagged Butter Boys and got a response of, "You didn't mean this is an incorrect tag." Was the response I got like pretty quick afterwards. How long have you been doing CrossFit for, Luke?
So close to 9-10 years in CrossFit, but I started doing CrossFit Kids like once a week to help out with my soccer training, and then I think I did CrossFit properly 2015 when they had the first teenagers division. So I went good in that, and then 2016 started trying properly. 2017, I'd say I actually started training CrossFit.
So you started doing, what age were you when you started doing it for soccer?
12 to 13 years old.
And how was that, self-led, or someone said, "Oh, you should do this"?
Oh, my mum took me there.
Okay.
So there was a new CrossFit gym opening up in the middle of Wollongong, had a Friday 4 p.m. kids class, and then we're like, all right, let's have a crack at this. Went there, loved it. Parents signed up, and then eventually I started doing more class wads, started doing the funky movements like butterfly pull-ups, picked that up quick. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Don't know what I'm doing here, but I'll just keep having a crack. And then 2015, they're like, oh, you can actually compete in this as a kid. So I was like, all right, let's see where this goes. Very first workout, I think I got first in Oz, and I was like 7th worldwide. I was like, oh, I must be pretty fit. So then after that, I was like, oh, I'll just make the games, because that was in the era where like Dan Bailey, Froning, and like Cleaper, they were doing all their really fun videos. And it was like the Rogue teams versing each other. The hype was there. So I think just fell in love with it. And then heaps of mates from my school also jumped on. And that's kind of how the Butter Boys crew started. And we just trained together after school every day.
So when you started doing it, then your parents weren't doing it themselves. They joined after you started doing it.
At the same time, I believe.
And why did they suddenly, like, why CrossFit if they hadn't been doing it beforehand?
It was a recommendation of a friend they recently made, and they said, hey, the friend of a friend is opening up a CrossFit gym here. You should go check it out. So the day we went to check it out was one of the days they were actually putting the equipment in the gym. And I remember being there as like a little kid with my mum, and she's like, oh, when does this open? And she was like, oh, it actually opens tomorrow. It was like the day after. So then we literally went home. The next day, went in there, and then I think my mum and dad tried it, loved it, and then they were like, oh, we have CrossFit Kids as well. And then I think that's when I signed up. But I think it was just through a friend to have a go at something different. That's how it started.
Do you know Ben Avery?
Ben Avery. It's going to be embarrassing if I don't. Just look on.
No, so then he's just an uneducated twat. Is Luke going to try the World Fitness Project now that the games are totally out of reach with the new system? Explain to me, Benjamin, how the games are totally out of reach with the new system.
Was he here for the first section where I said I missed the games by the final event, or?
Yeah, so 5th last year, like 40 odd points out. Ricky's probably going to qualify online. Jay's probably going to qualify online. Yeah, I don't know, Ben. Maybe you're just uneducated. Yeah. So you started doing it then. Do your parents still do it?
Yeah, my mom and older sister do. My dad dabbles in it every now and then my younger sister does powerlifting at a high level.
Yeah, okay. I saw videos of you were like comparing lifts and, you know, like challenging each other. That's your youngest sister, is it?
Yeah. Comparing lifts is a very generous term.
But you were doing the same movement.
Yeah. We were doing 5x8 back squats at 150. I think that's the video you're talking about, I believe.
Yeah. Ernie's asking, am I maxing out my clean and jerks? Yeah, that's my that's 75%. I was doing
two red wheels either side. That's impressive.
Yeah, the pink is
pink.
Yeah, it went a bit too. The red and blue is okay. Once I put on the pinks, it gets a bit too hard. So you started doing it then, and did any of the coaches or anything, was it around that time that you did well in that first open workout that they started maybe paying attention to what you're doing, or were they saying to you beforehand, hey, you're pretty good at this, or is it, I guess there's kind of an awkward, not awkward, but there's maybe a reluctance on some coaches' part to say to what's essentially a child, hey, you
Yeah.
should focus loads on this.
Yeah, you should hammer. You should, put your life, attention towards this one goal. It's very niche. Um, it's. I don't remember one person in particular, apart from my family, obviously, just saying, "Oh, like you're pretty good at this. You could really have a crack at this and see where it goes." Obviously, at this point, you don't know if there's any money in it or kind of
Yeah.
what CrossFit is. Like, CrossFit was so new; there wasn't even really like long-term CrossFit coaches at that stage. It was kind of like people who dabbled in or came from another sport. But yeah, there was just kind of talks here and there of you should have a crack, and then I purely did it just because I enjoyed it. I definitely didn't like keep training or try and push for the games because I liked competing in it at that point. I just loved doing the Wednesday class WOD and the Thursday class WOD, and then my mates coming in and us just pushing each other, and just you'd run up in the corner and be like, who can do 100 pull-ups the fastest, and it was kind of like that.
And then you went to the games in 2017. That was like the 16, 17 age group. Is that right?
Yeah, what a year that
And what
was.
was that like?
Oh, I sucked. That was that was the first time I ever went on a plane in my life. So I got there like 3 days before the comp. I did a workout at a local box. It ruined me. It had like tire flips and burpees. I did it with my coach at the time, Paul. And he was flogging me, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't good." And then, I remember in the warm up area with Adam Schmidt. I don't know if he does CrossFit anymore, but we did 21:59 thrusters, burpee over the bar, just to get the heart rate up. And I remember, like, I went at a normal workout pace, thinking I was going to be chill, and I just blew up my quads, and I couldn't breathe for like the next 15 minutes, and I had like horrendously sore quads going into event one at the games. So it was so bad. Like you couldn't have done it any worse, and that was all
And
my fault. I
where
thought it was a good idea.
2017, was that the first year of Madison, 2017?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Madtown.
And you mentioned like Dan and Froning and those guys. So you're obviously like a fan of the sport and stuff. Can you remember being there? Was it like, oh fuck, this is cool, I've made it? Or did you kind of ruin it by coming late and blowing up and being sore going into it and stuff?
I was purely there just to soak in everything and then just kind of meet all my idols at that point because I was just a massive fanboy. I remember I got heaps of videos of athletes. I got a video with Sarah, one with, I think I got a photo with Rich. I got a photo of Rich's mum as well. It's a bit of an old one. And then who was the Alex twins? The really, really strong ones back in the time. What are their names? I think it's Alex.
The Alex twins, like Alex
Oh.
is in the second name or the first name?
I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure it was the strongest one in CrossFit at the time back in Froning's era. But yeah, I remember I was with him in the warm up area, and it was just kind of surreal for me as a young kid. Kind of looked up to these people. So I remember doing snatches with him. Mine was about 40 kilos. He was about 80. Um, and yeah, I was just a fanboy soaking it up. I didn't really care about the comp after my quads blew up and I was kind of tired. I was just talking so much shit in the corrals to everyone. That's
Anderson's?
all I was
Alex
doing.
Anderson?
Anderson's, yes,
There you
that's
go.
it, Alex Anderson.
Oh yeah, Cody. Yeah, Cody's got the goatee, doesn't he? And he's like a
Yeah, he's a
freak
gymnastics freak.
lifting. Yeah, even lifting as well as barbell
Oh,
is
true.
like crazy.
Yeah.
So then 2017, you were what? 17? Almost 17, I guess.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I would have turned 17 right before the games. Yeah.
And what happened after that? Did you go back? Obviously, you've aged up now. You're not eligible for teenage. So did you immediately say, okay, I'm going to set my sights on man, the elite field? I was going to say man competing, the elite field, and go for that? Or did you go into it knowing, right, this is going to take a while?
Yeah, I knew it was going to take a while. I think every single teenager that comes out kind of knows you got a couple of years of limbo. You're just kind of not quite good enough to make it there, but you're good enough to still compete at a higher level. So it's like, what do you do with yourself? There's actually a post after the games. I wrote hashtag 2020 because I was like, oh, year 2018, 2019, I'll just make the games 2020. So that was my plan. I'll just do 2 years of limbo in there, just have as much fun as I can. And in that time as well, it's not like I was just hammered, like every single training session, like this is the games, this is for the games. I was going to the gym just because I loved working out, and I still do. It doesn't really drive me as much as the fact I just enjoy going. And then so 2019, I did the Torian Pro the first time it was in the arena before it was a sanctional, and then I think I got 12th there. I didn't perform that well. I was
The
like, all right,
12th
so I
isn't
need
bad.
yeah, so I was like, I need to step up a good bit because I wasn't in the final heat. That's all I remember. I had some horrendous showings there, but that's all right. And then I think it was Oz CrossFit Champs in Brisbane when it was a sanctional the first time, and I got 7th there. And I remember beating Newbury in like 2 events. That's all I remember from it. Thinking like, oh, if I can get him in 2, then I can get even more next time. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then down under champs, next sanction, I got 5th there, and that's the year Hepner and I think Matt McLeod won it. I got 5th there when there was 80 competitors, and that's when first place who didn't already have a games ticket got it. So I was like, all right, if I got 5th here, Jay Crouch got 3rd, I think at the time. I was like, all right, so I'm on track. So maybe 2021 I'll make the games, and then 2021, that's the year like everything just went to hell right before Torian season, and I was kind of annoyed because in my head I was like, this is the year I'm meant to make it, so I can't be injured and not show up.
So
So
what
obviously,
happened? What happened? Walk me through before Torian then.
I before the Open, I got really bad tonsillitis. So my wisdom teeth came through, just inflamed. I lost about 10 kilos, and that's no exaggeration. Like literally lost 10 kilos. I just couldn't train, couldn't do anything. So I just did the Open workout week to week, nothing in between. Quarterfinals comes round. Oh, my knees blew up horrendously. I had tendinopathy, but in my head, I'm like, I'm meant to make the games this year. I'm just going to push through. So I just did the
Was the
quarterfinals.
tendinopathy and stuff? Is that because you had pared back training so much, or is it just like inflammation, or what caused that? Just bad
I
luck.
think it was just trying to jump into training straight after the Open because like I hammered the Open on tonsillitis and definitely hurt my body. And I didn't recover from that at all for like 3 weeks of just going downhill. After that, I maybe had a week where I'm like, all right, let's try and bump up the quarterfinals. Blew my knees up, so I was like, can't do that. So I just tapered it back. And then in quarterfinals, every WOD just got worse and worse. And that's the year we had the 180 pistols. I think it was 60, 50, 40, 30, 20 GHD pistol rope climb. So I'm looking at the WOD just going, oh no, this is worst case scenario for me right now. So I just had heel inserts in, had the SBD knee sleeves on. As soon as I finished the WOD, I just lied on the ground, and I think Max and Kobe went up, got me ice packs. I just put them on my knees and just laid there.
Who's coaching you then?
I had a mix of people just looking over my stuff, but I didn't have just a coach for me at all.
So
It was
you were
pretty
just
much
kind of
just me
doing your
doing my own.
own thing, more or less.
Yeah, I was
Were
doing
you
my own thing.
were you programming for yourself, and then other people were just kind of saying, "No, that's stupid, don't do that," or "Yeah, that's good," or were other people doing your programming?
I was pretty much coming to the gym. I'd go on a whiteboard. I'd just write up a full session, and I'd kind of look over what Mayhem's doing in Victus at the time, and then a few other people in the class would do a mix of that. Just put it on. All the boys would come around and be like, "Yeah, that looks good," and then we just do what's on the whiteboard, and then rinse and repeat. And we did that for about 2 to 3 years. And like obviously
Were you
in
were you
hindsight,
improving? Did you feel like you were improving doing that? Because like there's obviously a danger there of, especially when there's a group of you, either like reverting back to what you were doing when you were a child, saying, "Oh, let's who can do 100 pull-ups the fastest," or just beating the shit out of each other and yourselves because of that kind of mob mentality. We're like, yeah, let's keep going. And I suppose if you're writing shit up on the whiteboard, wiping it off, and then coming in the next day being like, did we do that yesterday? What did we do yesterday? And you just end up overtraining things.
It was definitely the latter. It was definitely just beating the shit out of each other. Like there's a lot of things I would change back then. Don't get me wrong, but we got fit. We got insanely fit, but
Who's
way
this
too
now?
quickly.
This is you, Max, Zach,
Jake Souls, Joel Molyneux.
Okay.
So Max came in a bit later, and then there was also Crackers and some other people that don't do CrossFit with us anymore. But yeah, we just kind of write up, look over it, and we'd come in on the day. We kind of did what Ben Smith did because we used to watch a lot of his content, and he would just do day-to-day programming because he didn't know what body part was going to be sore or how much load he could manage. So we'd come in, we kind of talk amongst us, saying, "Oh, what feels effed? What do we do previously?" Write a list of movements up, and then just go through and then compare it to kind of what other people have been doing. And then we're like, "Ah, that looks good. Let's give it a rip." And
what were you doing alongside that? So were you in school and college? Were you working? What were you doing?
That would have been during high school. So I was just, would have been going through years 9 to 12, and then maybe my first year of uni. But after my first year of uni, that's when 2021 would have hit. So that's when my body blew up, and then I didn't train for 2 years after that. So.
Well, okay. All right, sorry. So go back. So you're doing your quarterfinals, knees are fucked.
Yeah.
And then you have a month and a half or so till Torian, is it? Or 2 months till Torian?
Yeah.
And what do those 2 months look like?
So after quarterfinals, I remember same thing after the Open. I was like, I'm just gonna push it because I just want to get fit. I'll just do the comp and then I can recover for 6 months after. It doesn't matter. I just blew up my back, couldn't do anything. So now tonsillitis is still cooked. Tendinopathy is still bad. My back just blew up. I got like sciatica on my left leg, and I was like, well, fuck it. I just won't train. So I just did bird dogs and some hollow rocks up until Torian. But because I was so light and did so much fitness previously, I think I stayed very fit but very weak. So when the events rolled around, I was like, there's not too many heavy lifts, so I could probably get away with it. And then, yeah, throughout the competition, I just remember I didn't sleep at all. My knees were just blowing up. My back was cooked, and yeah, I didn't sleep at all. So every single day, I just felt like more and more overtired.
But you didn't do badly though.
No, after
Did
the
you?
first day, I think I was winning after day one, and then after the first two events on day two, I had like a 40-point lead on Jay going into the max lift. And then it was pretty funny because on the max lift event, they went out one by one in order. So I was last because I was in first place. So like they call out my name, cheer. The first bar was 102 kilos, and I jerk it and I wobble with it. I was like, "Oh, that is embarrassing. I'm meant to be winning."
Is that
And
the
I can
one?
barely...
Is that the one where like Brandon Swan did something sick? Is that clean and jerk one?
Yeah, where it was just a clean and jerk, and I went up in the
Yeah.
the S pattern. Yeah. I think Brandon Swan would have killed that one. Yeah, so I think I maxed out my clean and jerk at 138 kilos in that event, got last place, and then Jay jumped me going to the final day. And I remember rocking up to the warm-up area, and then they were like, "Oh, how's the leaderboard going to finish up?" And I was in second, Jay was in first. And Khan was like, "Oh, well, there's only fitness events left, so Luke will be in top three, and it'll be Jay, and it might be Royce or whatever." And I remember hearing that, just going, "Oh, you have no idea how tired I am right now. I have nothing." Oh, but I was still talking shit. I was just like, "Yeah, I'll just do the sled in the first round. I'll probably clean it up, probably go for first place." So I was just talking shit, just knowing I was not in a good place.
It is great. Like when you look at it, so you came fifth in the first event, 84 points, seventh in the second event, 76 points, second in the third event, 96 points, first, 100 points. Then,
Mm.
then it was 27th, 10 points,
Ooh.
15th, 46 points, and 25th, 16 points. So there is,
Yeah.
you were kind of like, okay, yeah, this is going really well. And there's just like cliff. You just like went
Yeah.
off the cliff.
Went straight off her head first.
Is that like do you think you were helped by the fact that you had trained in that kind of environment? Because I'm guessing there's a lot of shit talk and there's a lot of like, like just taking the piss out of each other and not taking it too seriously. And when it's good, you don't take it too seriously. When it's bad, you don't take it too seriously. Because it can't be easy when you're in that type of environment, sitting in first or second on the leaderboard, like getting real world, it's a fine lift, but in that scenario, it's a humiliating lift when you're surrounded by those other kind of people and you're at the top of the leaderboard. And then when that continues, when you get beaten after it again and then after it again, and it's going to keep happening. Like, do you think that your training environment stuff helped you just not like withdraw or quit or cry or something?
That's actually a really good take. I never really thought of it like that, but definitely. Like I've not only from the point of just not giving a fuck mentally because of shit talking and then not being afraid to go bad, but also just how many times we pushed when our bodies have been really fucked up, which I don't really want to admit, but we did do that. So I'll even just being overtired, feeling lethargic, and then just having the pressure of, this is actually what you've trained for. It's the game's ticket up, and like people put pressure on you. You went shit in the last one, you got to bring it back. I didn't give a single fuck. I was just ready to rip the next event, give it my all. And then it's either going to be an absolute epic fail or an insane comeback. And I'm just going for that comeback. And eventually it's going to happen.
It's actually funny. I'll share this because I just noticed this while I had your scores open and accidentally clicked cans. And it's just so funny, the difference in photos. It's like model grade Pan Porter and then saucepan on his head with an air rifle or something.
Yeah. As my manager, is that good for my brand or no?
Oh, I think it is.
Oh, perfect. That's
Yeah, I
good.
think it
Yeah, that's
is.
a
That's
saucepan. I was pretending to be Ned Kelly. I wore that and I went out into the lounge room and did a Ned Kelly impression in front of my family. And
excellent.
yeah,
And then we have the photographic evidence. Excellent.
yeah, there it is.
What age? You're not 21 now, are you?
No, no, I'm 24.
Okay. Does that not update? Oh, it's just
Ah,
frozen in time from
yeah,
whenever you
yeah,
did it, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I was like, Jesus, I really thought he was like 24.
I got 7th. Damn, I was pretty fit.
Yeah. Especially considering like the cliff face that you fell off here.
Yeah, that was wild.
When you're doing the interviews and stuff afterwards and all that, um like the reaction, like coming yawning, coming over the finish line and shrugging,
Mm.
coming over the finish line, is that um did you consider that before you took to the floor? Is that like, had you always done that, or was that like, oh, do you know what would actually be pretty funny is if I did this?
Yeah, so at the origin of that, it started during quarterfinals, actually, just talk amongst the boys. Because we always said, like, when athletes are so boring, they'll finish an event and, like, the girls do the classic like that, and then the guys just fucking fist pump. It's just copy and paste over. And I was like, just do something a bit silly. So in quarterfinals, I think even I think Zach did a yawn in quarterfinals, one of his videos, and we thought it was hilarious. And then we were just talking so much shit at the end of our workouts, and we're like, why don't we do this in an in-person event? This will be so funny. So we were in the stands before the event, and it's funny because I'm planning to go really good to do the celebration. Because if I go bad, you can't celebrate; it's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
yeah.
So we're talking about what celebration I'm gonna do when I win the heat or win the event. And in hindsight, that's hilarious because I was like, I did not think I was going to win an event to be able to do a celebration. So we had the yawn was planned, and then I think Shiggy might have been a bit on the spot. I don't think I told him I was going to do that. And then I think I did the fake tired one just because I didn't know what to do. I didn't have one plan for that one either.
Yeah.
But it was just to make the boys laugh. That was the only reason I did it. We just thought it was funny.
Yeah, it is amazing. And it is, I think, I'm trying to think who the fuck did it. Was it Matt Bickle or someone? He's like hangs around Invictus. After semi-finals last year, he put up a post counting the amount of women that just did the double hands
Oh, really?
as a celebrity at the wave.
There you
He
go.
was like, he had a compilation of all of them, and he'd be like, double hand wave, and then one girl did like singing. He goes, oh no, oh there it is. Like,
Yeah.
she puts her second hand up. It is like, yeah, it is very repetitive. But I
Yeah.
guess it's funny because I suppose, unlike you, most people, with the exception of like the top guys and girls, are probably not thinking, what'll I do now if I win an event. They're just so focused on winning the event or
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
well in the event. And then they win it and they're like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting to do well
yeah.
there. So, but yeah, it is funny. Thinking of the semi-finals when they're going down through the list saying, in 7th place qualifying for the CrossFit Games is whoever, and it's just like a wave. It's like, you've just
Yeah.
made it to the best possible
Yeah.
end of the sport, and the best you can come up with is a wave.
Yeah, boring.
When you realize though that you're like on borrowed time, like, did you think that you were going to get through? Was there a part of you thinking, maybe, like, just maybe if I can just like tape myself together and mentally ignore all the things that my body is telling me for another 3 workouts, even just for one of the workouts, maybe I have enough in me to just sneak up? Or did you know after, like, say with the last 2 events to go, were you like, this, I'm fucked, like, this is never going to happen?
I was fucked, but I had full belief I was just gonna do it. That's my mindset with everything. I'm like, no matter how bad I'm feeling or how much the odds are against me, I was like, I'll just find a way to do it, and I'll just make it happen. And then if it doesn't, it's something went wrong. It's not like that was how it was meant to happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah. I think that this worked well for me so far, just because you never doubt yourself in any situation. So even like the sled pull event, the first event I went poorly in, actually is a good example, because I went out way too hot because Khan was next to me and I was like, I'll stay with him because he's going to be good at this event and then I'll get a top 3. He tried to do it in one round. So he's skiing at 2.5, 2.4. I ski at like 19, 2000. I got right before him. I could not pull the sled to save my life. My shoes were slipping a little bit. I just blew up as well. The second round, same thing. Got there too quick. Started pulling the sled. Jay, everyone next to me overtook me, and I was like, I can't do another round like this, otherwise I'm never going to finish it. So I was like, how can I finish this workout? How can I do it? Went back to the ski. I was like, I'll just skip around. I'll just do it. So I asked my judge, I'm like, what's the minimum work requirement? He didn't really know what to say. He's like, just look like you're doing the workout. So I ran over to the ski. I just milked the cow on the ski erg, and he's like, "Excuse me, like ski faster." And I'm like, "Nah, I don't want it." And then I remember being like, well, "My shoes are slipping. I might as well get new shoes." So I called over Newbury, who's already finished the workout in the prior heat, and he ran over, gave me his shoes. So first wheel change mid workout apparently in CrossFit ever. So I'll take that. Changed shoes, fully fresh for the next round. And I remember it was me and Will Kearney. We had one round to go to finish the workout, and he just killed himself for 3 rounds in a row. I've just done my 2, had a little rest, so I felt pretty good. Yeah, set the next round, felt pretty grippy on the shoes, finished the workout, and then I copped the 15th. And I was like, that was best case scenario for how that workout started. To get 15th with skipping around, I was over
Yeah,
the moon.
that's crazy. Did anybody say
Yeah.
anything afterwards? Like, were any of the organizer, judge, or head judge, or anybody like, what the fuck did you do there?
Yeah. Most people were just saying that was hilarious. So like, are you allowed to do that? I was like, why'd you change your shoes? It was mostly that. But then the year after, they did make a rule that you can't do that anymore. Royce told me. So I got a
So you
rule
can't
after
change
me
your
now.
shoes, or you can't skip around.
You can't skip around. You have to have a crack at each round.
That's pretty funny. I love the idea
Yeah.
of the judge being like, "No, try hard. I am. This is it.
Yeah. This is all
all
I've
you're
got,
getting." So then you don't make it, and afterwards, like are you finishing Torian thinking, all right, well, that didn't go the way I wanted to, but the bad luck is out of the way now, so I can just hit the ground running after a brief recovery, and then
Yeah, that was the
obviously that doesn't
mindset.
happen.
Yeah, the exact opposite happened, actually. I did not expect what was about to come after that. So I think I had about a month and a half, maybe 2 months of doing nothing, and my body just got way worse. And I was like, well, this isn't good. Sciatica went down both my legs at that point. I couldn't touch my toes, couldn't air squat. Tendinopathy got so bad and so severe, I really couldn't do anything on them. So I was like, all right, I really got to get this sorted. So I worked with Hayden for literally 6 months, and then did some stuff with Andrew Locke with my back for about a year. So I'm a year and a half in, and my knees are like a lot less achy, but I had a really, really sharp pain in my right one I could not get rid of. And I was like, oh, my meniscus is done. I had multiple MRIs and ultrasounds, couldn't find anything wrong with my knee, but I just knew there was something wrong. It was so painful. I couldn't do anything. And everyone was saying it was cyst, it was this, it was that. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just focus on the back. So then I did what, box squats and lean backs and cobras every 2 hours for about 4 to 6 months.
Every
Like
2 hours.
Every 2 hours, swear. I had my watch on. I put a 2-hour timer or 2.5-hour timer, and every 2 hours I did that, 10 reps of each for about 4 to 6 months, and that helped push my disc back in a little bit. That's what Andrew Locke told me anyway.
Hang on, whoa. So you had a bulging disc, a slip disc?
Yeah, I had one bad bulging disc and then one that was not too severe below it. It was my L5
And what caused that?
S1. That would have been just training. Well, obviously they don't happen immediately just from one big impact to something that happens over repetitive stress over time. So
Okay.
that would have been just poor movement quality leading into the open, and then just selling myself with horrendous movement quality in the open quarterfinals, and then also at the comp, because every single time I moved, it was just poor movement quality since I had tonsillitis. So I assumed that 3 months period just really set it out of place. And then I was just running on adrenaline at the comp, so I didn't really feel it. Then after the fact, it just went really bad.
Wow. So you did, just walk me through that again. You did every 2 hours. So you wake up in the morning at whatever, 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
and you straight away do 10 box squats. What was the other thing you said?
Yeah, 10 box squats with vertical shins, 10 standing lean backs, just with my glute squeeze as hard as I can, and then 10 cobras prone on the ground.
10 lean backs, like literally just standing upright, leaning backwards.
Yep. Standing,
Okay.
hands on your glutes, just leaning back, trying to look at the ceiling.
And then cobra is the like lying down on the ground, hands down, groin down, and you lift yourself up. Is that cobra?
Think of like yoga, where they do like downward dog to cobra stuff.
Okay. And you just did that every 2 hours.
Yep. Even while I
And
was
did
on
you-
holiday in America, everything. Yeah. I was at the airport.
And when you
doing
were
it.
doing it, did you know, like, did you feel relief doing it, or were you just doing it in the hope that eventually something would click and you'd feel better?
Well, I had notes in my phone where I would do weekly updates, and I just write paragraphs on how I'm feeling mentally, physically, and if it's actually working or whether I should do something else. And every single week, I was about 5% better. So I was like, all right, it's doing
Okay.
something. Next update, 5% better, and then say if I was like 2 months in, going, is this really doing anything? I go back all through my notes and be like, oh, on this date, 3 weeks ago, I could barely do this movement, and now I've progressed. So like, all right, it is working. So that's how I did it. This basically took over my entire life, just getting healthy, because your physical health is so heavily linked to your mental health. It's like the number one thing. So every single part of my life just wanted to go downhill because of my physical health. So I took it so seriously. I think I took this rehab more seriously than my training for Torian.
And were you depressed? Like, were you
Oh yeah.
okay?
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Were you
hated
going to the
everything.
gym or anything to do it, or were you just doing everything at home?
It was a mix. I had periods where I just didn't go to the gym, but I would only go to the gym just to see my mates and then kind of have a bit of a laugh. But I couldn't really do anything, and like there was a lot of jokes every time I come in the gym. Everyone would joke about like, "Oh, you're still injured, still doing rehab." So then there were some days I was like, "I can't be fucked coming in here," so I'm just going home. Like I went to like I say this because it's such a funny story. Like in hindsight, everything's always funnier, but there was one day I went in, and Max is awesome, by the way. Max is a legend. He did a lot of my knee over toe stuff with me. He literally, instead of his own training, did some of my rehab with me, just
He
so
also
he could
just paid
support me.
me $3 to make a shit joke where he said
Yeah.
he loved his afro getting pulled and called daddy. Isn't that not the opposite, Max? That would
Anyway,
the hair puller not be the dad in that scenario, in that kind of homoerotic scenario that you're painting there? Sorry, go on about Max anyway.
yeah, no comment on that. But yeah, he supported me throughout the whole thing. Even now, like he helps with training and everything. But I remember one day specifically, I went in and I was just in a bad mood. Like he had no idea, and he jumped on one of the boxes, did a backflip off it, and just landed, and then went over to the corner to do his training. And Kobe's like, "You'll never be able to do that again," just as a joke. I was like, "Holy
Jesus.
shit! This is such a bad environment for me to do rehab."
Fucking hell.
But like that was hilarious. I don't
Yeah,
care at all.
once your disc popped back in, you started laughing at that joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you isolate yourself then? Like in hindsight, are you like, do you think you did it the right way? As in, I know that you did the rehab. I'm not asking about that bit, but the mental side of it. Like, do you, in hindsight, would you rather go back and say, I probably should have been at the gym more, or I probably should have been at the gym less, or like hung out with people in away from that environment rather than in it?
I personally wouldn't change a thing, and I'm not saying that just because you can't change it. I genuinely wouldn't change anything. I think I had a good mix, and I was constantly seeking to progress and then get educated by new people, see new professionals, get scanned. I was constantly just trying to level up my rehab and then keep it fun. So it's not like I was just going to the gym every single day hating it. If I hated it,
Yeah.
I'd change it. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to do this and see if it's better. And if I hated that, I change it, find a new routine. I was constantly just finding a way to keep going because my mindset was that if I stop, that's when I lose. If I just keep trying and finding ways to want to do the rehab, then inevitably I'll be better. It has to happen.
What were you in college? No, you were finished college?
No, I was in university studying exercise physiology.
Okay. Irony there that you can't
Ye-
do
Oh,
exercise.
I was talking to my professors and my teachers about everything. Like I couldn't even sit in my chair. That's how it started. Actually, I had to kneel or sit on the ground or walk around because my back was so cooked. I couldn't sit in the chair. It just light up my sciatica. So they would ask me like, "Are you all good?" And they're like, "I was like, yeah, I just got to stand up. My back's cooked." And then they would even try and help me out with it. And then when they see me walking around, they'll be like, "Oh, that's just what Luke does. He's fine."
Yeah. That's the ADHD kid. Yeah, so I bet halfway through though they were like, I wish I never asked him about his fucking back. Here he comes again. Here he
Yeah,
comes.
yeah.
Here he
Like
comes another
this
fucking question.
this guy doesn't shut up about his back.
Yeah. Oh, your back's sore, Luke, is it? God, you never mentioned that before.
Yeah, that's me.
So because that's never happened. I've never had that sort of injury. Like I've had muscular things and stuff, and like sprains or whatever. But I've never had anything back related. Thank God. Was there? So you say that you did that every 2 hours for 4 months, and it popped back in. Was there a moment of like, oh fuck, it's fixed, or was it just like, oh, I actually feel okay today?
Definitely not. It was the most gradual thing you could imagine. It was like, oh, test, oh, that's a bit too much. And then say it does feel better. Oh, I get to a 40 kilo squat. And then it's like, oh, I kind of flare up a little bit, tested it too much. Then I'll do like box squats for a while. Then I'll test a full depth 40 kilo squat. I'm like, all right, that's good. I'll go to 60. Same thing. Can't hit depth at 60. Then I go full depth at 60. I'm like, all right, that's better. And after it felt better after the 4 to 6 month period, it took another year probably to get back to proper lifting.
Wow. Okay, so I assumed it was like, it's better, I can start training again, but it was, look at your thumbs up there. It was just constantly relearning everything, sort of rebuilding muscle memory, sort of. And then was it that your back would get sore and you'd have to stop and then you'd lose a week, or was it like it wouldn't feel right, so you'd stop, but then the next day you'd be fine to go again?
It was completely random. I wish there was a bit more rhyme and reason to kind of what flared it up and then what caused the pain. But some days I'd feel like it was going to be out for a month and then I'd be good the next day. Other days it just feels like a slight niggle and I wake up out of bed and I literally couldn't sit up. I couldn't do anything. It was completely random. If anyone's ever had chronic pain, specifically with like S1L5 joint, just sciatic nerve, just compression, it is hell. Like it just takes so much time and it's so random.
How does it get fixed then? Like, how are you able to
depends.
lift and stuff now? Is it just because you slowly trained yourself back to where, like, I don't understand how it just goes away then.
Yeah, so say initially the injury happened because my disc will compress on my nerve, and say how long it's been compressed is very dependent on how long it's going to take to get uncompressed. It's not like when you get an impingement, it's just on and then it's off and then you're good. It'll actually compress the nerve enough and it'll stay squished even when you've got the relief of the bulge coming off it.
Like a bent cable, kind of. The longer it's bent, the longer it takes to go back to normal, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that analogy works. And then it'll just take ages for it to come back slowly. So,
and then it might recompress that. So the pain that you were getting then was, if it was at the disc moving back, then do you think? Or no?
The pain would have just been still from the compression, and then my body trying to use the nerve and then slide. Obviously, if it's got a compression in it, nerves glide. They don't necessarily tension, so it just won't want to glide in any movement. So that's why when you like do the classic sciatic gliding test, you lift your leg up while you look up because you're trying to pull it through your body. It that just doesn't want to move at all if it's compressed. It'll just cause you a lot of pain right down to your toe.
I actually saw that the other day on, what the fuck was that on? Oh, Squat University. He was doing like a hamstring test, and then he gets someone to look up and do a hamstring test, and they could go way higher or had way more flexibility. And he was saying it was something to do with a sciatic nerve or something. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So you do Torian in, when was that? Like June 2021?
Yeah.
Around there somewhere.
Yeah.
And then at what point were you like, all right, cool, give me a barbell, I'm good?
After my knee surgery.
Fucking hell. Okay.
So remember how I previously said I had that sharp pain in my knee, didn't know what it was. So my back's good and now my knee is cooked. I can't do anything on it, but I feel good to go apart from just my knee. So I would have been my third ultrasound on it. And I remember going to ultrasound going, this is going to find nothing. Like nothing's happened for the last 2.5 years. Like it's useless. Went in there and they saw a millimeter of plica just under my patella between my femur.
What's plica?
And so plica is, so when you're a kid and transitioning to adolescence, your joint forms in multiple compartments. You have your anterior, posterior, and then your sides. And the fiber that separates it is plica. And then eventually the plica is meant to dissolve when you grow up and then it turns into the one synovial joint you have as an adult. So a bit of my plica just never fully dissolved in my body and it got stuck underneath my patella and my femur. It's actually a little bit more common than people think.
Sure.
So yeah. Well, I never
sounds
had
like
it anyway.
You're making it sound like you never hit puberty. That's what it's coming across.
Basically. Yeah. It's like
your
the
knee,
Osgood
your knee
really cool.
is still an adolescent and the rest of your body has hit puberty. Okay.
Yeah. Just 1% of it, but just 1% of it.
And then is that surgery? Do they have to pull that out or what do they do with that?
Yes. So, but the reason that it was giving me a lot of pain as well is because plica is still attached to your skin as well. So it was under there, still attached to my skin. So it still has blood flow. So when it gets pulled or when I was squatting, I would still cause it to bleed inside my knee. So that's why it was giving me so much pain. So what they have to do is they just have to go snip it as close as possible to the skin, get rid of it, let it bleed and inflame for the month or two after surgery, and then just start moving again.
So it's still in there?
A little bit of it is, yeah, but the bit that was under my patella is now snipped off.
And it doesn't hurt. You don't get knee pain now.
My right knee is better than my left knee. My right knee feels like it's a newborn baby's knee. It feels incredible. I can do anything on it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I had that.
In hindsight, then, was your knee fucked like all the time, and you just didn't realize how bad it was? Like it just got worse.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
So obviously, the plica, I would have been impinging it a little bit when I was training hard. Then I would have been training even harder during Torian, and then really not letting it recover. And then it was just making it bleed and pulling on the plica. Then it got to the point where it was just constantly inflamed. And then that mixed with the tendinopathy would have just been the most disgusting inflammation concoction in my knee, just causing all
Was it
sorts
physically,
of pain.
like if you looked at it, was it bigger? Like was it swelling and going down?
Yeah, she was a little fatty. She was big.
Well, yeah, Barty says your right knee just hit puberty. You can add that to the Apollo Analytics page on Lucas. Okay, so then, wow, so that's a lot of fuck yous from the universe there. So you have tonsillitis, inflammation, Torian, beat the shit out of yourself through those few months. And then you have sciatica and bulging disc and everything else. You recover from that. And then after you recover from that, your knee. So were you back saying, oh, cool, I can train. Fuck, why is my knee so sore? Like, did you get back and have to stop again?
Pretty much. The knee pain was always there, but you kind of have, I don't know if you heard the terminal pain velocity kind of theory. Your body can only feel so much because my back was so bad. It was masking how bad my knee really was. So when my back got better, the knee pain just went times 10. And I was like, oh, that was like that the whole time. Wow. And then that was a whole ordeal figuring out and then getting the surgery. And then the recovery from that was like another 4 to 6 months. And then I did down under.
What did you say the back was, a year and a half?
Yeah, I've over that. That would have been close.
So 2 years then, all in more or less.
Yeah. Everything included with the knee. I'm talking like over 2 years easily of just can't do fucking anything.
And did you at any point were you just like, fuck it, I'll just like buy a Peloton bike and sit at home? Yeah, about 50 million times I had that thought. Yeah. But I guess when you're recovering from the back thing, it's not even training. It's just like you say, sitting in class. Like you kind of have you don't have to, but motivated person wants to get back to normal because it's every day. It's like carrying shopping and sitting and getting in and out of a car. That kind of shit like is going to be affected. It's not as if it's, well, I'll never go to the games if I have back pain. It's like I'll never be able to pick up my kids or like, fucking jump in a pool or whatever. And then I guess the knee is probably similar. Like I'm assuming the knee wasn't just painful when you were squatting. I'm assuming it was like getting in and out of chairs and stuff as well. It was sore. Yeah, everything. Like I said, with chronic pain, you kind of feel like you lose part of your identity. Like one of your biggest expressions is how you move with your body, and when you limit that, you don't really feel like yourself at all. It's the weirdest feeling, and then obviously that leads into the depression side of things, and just not quite feeling like you want to do anything. But yeah. Did you? So when your back started to feel good, you were feeling good, and then you realized your knee was sore. Was that like worse? Was that worse kind of depression than you had when it was just your back, when you were like, not again, like I can't do another, like when they find that I've already forgotten the name of it, the puberty thing, and then they're like, oh, it'll be probably 6 months, so you're just like, no, I can't. Yeah. Oh, it was a big hit, but it's when I immediately got the news, I was like, fuck, let's book in the surgery immediately. Let's just get it rolling, because I know if I take action, then it'll kind of delay that hitting me. So that did help a little bit, but there was moments where I was just lying in bed going, are you fucking serious? Like, I can't do this again. No way. So I would just attach to anything I could do. Like I just went fishing every day for a period just to find something to do. That's when I started playing darts. I got really good at darts. I played darts for 2 years while I was injured as well. And then I swam every day for 6 months. Going through the back rehab stage because I sucked at swimming, and I was like, this will get me kind of fit and this will help me with my CrossFit. I just did anything I could find to just keep my mind off it. Were you going to the gym? No, like after your knee or during your knee? Yeah, I was still going to the gym every now and then, but like I said, it was just to catch up with my mates and then have a bit of a laugh. Yeah, or like 3 times a week. Were you single during that? Were you in a relationship or anything or no?
I was in a relationship at the time. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm assuming
definitely
that
fun.
went great.
Fantastic. You're like the best person to be around. Yeah, the guy that's
Yeah. Wow.
sleeping.
It's like, oh, here's your boyfriend, the black cloud that just sucks the joy out of the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, he walks in. Oh, fucking
Uh,
hell, Luke's here again.
Here comes a guy. Here comes a guy who's going to talk about his back and play fucking darts again.
Yeah. I'd like to think I wasn't like that. I always tried to
Yeah.
keep it fun and keep positive, but
Was that? Is that like? So obviously, you try and mask things, and you try and like. I'm assuming if you bumped into, even on your worst day, if you bump into someone on the street, you're not gonna like burst into tears, or you're gonna pretend you're fine and be like, "Oh yeah, it's great," get the knee sorted now, and I'll be back. And like you're gonna pretend everything's great, even if you're not gonna. If you bump into Max on the street, you're not gonna be like, "Everything's fucking awful."
yeah.
And then I don't know, like it probably helps you in the moment. Then as soon as you walk away from that person, you're just reminded of the reality that like everything isn't great and you still have another
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah, but definitely fake it till you make it attitude. It works a treat. Like people would
Yeah.
talk to me about stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'll be good. I'm on the mend doing this, even if I wasn't or if I didn't believe it. I was like, you had to have some sort of hope. Otherwise, what, you're just going to give up? Like that's the alternative. Either you just keep getting better or you give up. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Just to kind of sulk and be like, oh, this is so unfortunate. I was like, I'll just get better. I remember even, I think Carl Edwards even told me this. I think there was it might have been on the Frog vlog or before that, when I was still kind of on the mend and I haven't made Torian yet. And my body still wasn't good at this stage. But in an interview, I said what weight I'm going to go into Torian and compete at before I even qualified, before I was even healed. So like my mindset was like, I'm just going to make it back at some point. Like even at NSPC, when I was going there, I think it was a week after my knee surgery, I bet somebody $100 that I was going to make the games. Like that was my mindset. I still owe them $100, by the way. So if they're watching this,
I was just gonna say,
haven't paid
is it
them.
double or nothing, or how do you handle that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what physically? Okay, so obviously your strength numbers are shit, and you're probably like you don't feel fit or whatever. But like physically, had you like lost a lot of muscle mass? Like what kind of shape were you in when you could start training again?
Well, the first time I got a bit of a reality check was the down on the qualifiers, because that's when I started doing my first CrossFit WODs. And leading into it, I put on heaps of weight because I was sick of being light and just being skinny. So I was like, if I'm going to get better at CrossFit, I have to get stronger. To get stronger, I'm going to have to hold more weight. So let's just bulk up. Did a massive dirty bulk into the qualifiers. And then, yeah, down on the qualifiers camp, saw all the workouts. Max and Zach were doing them at the time. And I was definitely not ready for it. But my mindset was, I got to come back to competing at some time. So why not just do it now and see if I can do it? So did all the workouts the first time through. And Max and Zach destroyed my times, like obliterated it by minutes. And I remember sitting at home going, this is not how it ends. Like, there's no way this is how my story ends right here. Of coming back and just sucking. Then
How
the
much weight?
day
How
after,
much weight do you think you gained?
9 kilos, like heaps. I went over
Wow.
100 for the first time in that period. And then I
And you
went
said it
and
was a dirty bulk as well.
yeah, I was having all sorts of shit, man. I was ice cream, had Max every
So you
now and
must
then.
have like just felt like shit as well. Like even just felt slow and just
Yeah,
heavy.
yeah, felt slow and heavy. Metabolically and day-to-day energy, I felt pretty good, to be honest. It was
Okay.
just doing CrossFit stuff. I was like, ooh, I don't feel too good here. But yeah, went in, I redid all the workouts and just sold my soul. And that's probably the proudest moment in my entire CrossFit career, is just coming back, killing myself. And I think I qualified in 6 for Down Under.
Oh, so you
And I was
you did the workouts, did shit, and then came back and redid the workouts.
just redid it and killed myself. And there's clips of me after the WOD just going fucking mental. Like after the row handstand walk one, I go to kick my rower and then I don't. I kick the box my phone's holding. And after a while, I'm like, fuck yes. Like I went mental. And everyone's going, fuck, this is just qualifiers, dude. What are you doing? Like, calm down.
But that's like whatever, fucking 2+ years of release of
Yeah.
like, will I be able to do it? Like, even if you're telling yourself, oh, I'll come back, like this is like whatever, you still need that moment of realization, or there's always going to be doubt, or there's always going to be, no matter how much you swallow it or hide it, there's always going to be that thing of like, oh, I'm definitely going to make it. At least I fucking hope I am. Like there's always going to be that other voice, I guess. So yeah, I can
Yeah.
I can see the release. I can understand the release. It wouldn't have been funny, but it would have been kind of funny if you injured your knee kicking the box. I'm glad you didn't.
It did hurt my knee a bit too. I'm not even kidding. I was like, oh, that doesn't feel too good.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, it was just so cathartic. I just let it all out. I was like, oh,
So
I
this
still do
is
that now, to be honest.
what year are we now? 2023?
That would have been start of
Down under is like in November, isn't it? Or
late 2023, first come
okay.
back. That's it. Yeah.
And did you do that competition? Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. I ended finishing in 6th, but I'm gonna sound salty here. I should have finished in 2nd. There was the handstand walk event. It was farmer's carry, handstand obstacle, and kettlebell snatches. I was winning by like a heaps, and all I had to do was a 25-foot section of a weave. And the judge said I hit my hand on the line twice when I didn't, and he called me back. And then the next 2 attempts, I was so fatigued, I hit the post in the middle, then got no rep. Ended up getting 6 in that event, and I had like 2 minutes to do this 25-foot section. And if I just got my first place, then I would have got 2nd to Peter Ells. And that would have been the best comeback ever. And
Yeah.
instead, I got 6, and everyone's like, "Oh, Luke's back. He's in 6." And I was like, "I fucking shouldn't have been 6." Oh my
Luke's
god, that
back,
pissed me
sort
off.
of.
Yeah, it's like that whole event was hilarious, to be honest.
What aspect of it? As in, like, taking part in it?
Yeah, just coming back to competing and forgetting what it's like. It's been that long since I did it. So I remember, like, my new thing was I was just going to not warm up because I just felt better not warming up. And even when you warm up for ages, you stand in the corrals for 10, 15 minutes. So when we go into comps now, all of us just practice warming up less. And then you still got to recover from warming up as well. So it kind of plays to your benefit if you can do a small warm up and perform well. So we started doing that. So I would rock up to the warm up area maybe 10 minutes before my event and just hop on the bike, do a couple of movements. So that felt pretty good. So I learned something new there. There was some events where I rocked up a bit too late and it was a bit risky. And I remember the first event was a beach run. After it was 15 bar muscle ups, 25 chest to bar, 1K beach run. And I remember getting on the beach being like, fuck yeah, I'm back. And I ran so hard all the way to the top. Because I think I came into the run in like 8th and I got to the ball in 1st or 2nd. And Max was watching the live stream and then they were like, Luke DeJong getting to the ball. And he's like, oh my God, he's doing so well. And I ate shit on that dead ball. I think I came off in like 10th. Oh, I was like just so stupid. I shouldn't have ran that hard. But you just get caught up in the moment thinking I was fitter than I was.
It's funny though, because even like not, I did my level 2 at the weekend, and I learned a lot of different stuff. But one of the things we did a workout at the end, and the red shirt, like one of the seminar staff, wrote the workout, took us through the lesson plan, and we did the work. We did a class basically, and it was like rowing, wall balls, muscle ups, like a shit ton of them, and
Yeah.
For the warm up, we just did like an EMOM of rowing, and then a quick little kind of go through of a wall ball, and then a quick little go through of a muscle up. And then it was like, all right, we're going. Like we did one round of less reps and like 10 calories, 10 wall balls, a muscle up or something. And then we just started. And I was sitting on the rower being like, is that it? Is that all the warm up we're doing? We're not going to stretch. We're not going to like do something else or whatever.
Yeah.
But I felt totally fine. I think it's just because it's been ingrained in me that like you have to stretch, you have to like dynamically stretch, you should probably foam roll before, like you just kind of, it's so easy. And this is not at a competitive level like at all. But if I'm thinking that, I'm assuming that the more you go up, the more people, even who was I talking to? I was talking to Steve Foster about the other day that in warm-up areas, he can see people who are new, because he's always been around the sport like decades, but he can see people who are new, who have just clocked someone doing a certain type of stretch and think, shit, should I be doing that? And they just mimic whatever's around them and end up adding loads of shit. Same as like, oh, I'm wearing my lucky pair of socks. It's like, well, I did that stretch that one time that I saw Brooke Wells doing, and I did okay in that workout, so I should probably do that stretch all the time.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that, just copying people. Oh, there's so many examples of that. Just even Torian 2019, the first time it was a thing. like, as a running joke with like me and Reese Michelle even, because they were 30 minutes out of a snatch event and they were just sending snatches. They would have done like 100 reps at 40 kilos. And I was like, this is how they do it. This is how they warm up. They just go hard. So like there was a bike event after. I'm doing 10-second bike sprints, being like, this is how you do it. Then I get out there and I'm fucked. I'm like, this is horrible. I can't do anything. And then I look at James Newbury in the corner fucking meditating in first place. I was like, what's he doing? Why is he on the bike? So I was like, there's individual ways to go about this, and I just kind of found my middle ground.
So you had all those like the physios and, you know, back experts and knee experts and all that shit helping you, but you still didn't have a coach. You were still just doing your own thing.
Yep.
And at Down Under as well. When did you get, because you have a coach now, right?
Yeah.
Who's your coach? You've Bobby D as your coach.
Yeah, big bad Bobby D.
He so he's very well known over there, and I guess what people over here would probably know him for the most is he coached Fikowski for a long time.
Sure.
That's probably where people would remember his name from. How did you start, or when, or how did you start working with him?
So obviously before leading into Torian, the first one when me, Zach, and Max and everyone trained together. So we kind of all did my stuff and then mix and match other things. And then I got injured, so then pretty much all the boys didn't have really anything to do. So I think Zach started working with Bobby a year after that. So in 2022, Zach started working with Bobby. He made some great progress with him. And then I think Zach got 7th at Torian in 2023. And then, yeah, I went through the 2024 Torian. Obviously just missed out on the games there. And I was like, well, I got to make some sort of big change here because I can't let this happen again. I don't want to be the guy who just keeps missing out. So I was like, well, if I get to train with Zach more again and I get a good coach, Bobby D. So I reached out to Bobby. He wasn't really taking any athletes on, but just because kind of me and Zach already trained together, he has a good relationship with Zach. And then I think me and him work really well together as athlete-coach relationship. He took me on and it's just been good ever since, really.
So you started working with him after the most recent Torian?
Yep. So I haven't gone into a competition with a coach yet. Ever.
And that Torian that's the one where Zach's heart exploded, isn't it?
Yeah. That's where he faked his heart attack. That's the one.
Yeah. He knew he wasn't going to win, so he's like,
yeah. He still does it in training, eh? Just pulls it.
he just lies down. People just step across his body and go to the next thing. Yeah. That's just Zach being Zach. So then you were obviously doing all that stuff yourself, programming for yourself. Okay, you haven't gone into a competition with a coach. There's no point asking about that. But off season, you've had an off season now with a coach for the first time. Is it relatively similar to what you're doing? Is it huge changes? Is it completely different? Or what are the major kind of shifts you've had?
Well, in terms of, because Bobby still like closely follows CrossFit methodology, kind of like what Adler does, where it's very CrossFit.com stuff, very classic, super fun. The variety is very high. So that was kind of what I was doing in my Metcons, but he's just structured it so well leading into the season. I think what I was kind of doing was inspired by Rich Froning, where he would always kind of brag and be like, I've never had an off season, or thought it was cool just to train hard just because he enjoyed training. So that was kind of what I was doing. I'd just be really fit at random points of the year and be like, well, what do I do with this? Where now I'm actually training for the sport. So even after touring, I was doing 4 days a week, and I've never trained only 4 days a week, single sessions. And then we just built up super, super slow. Wasn't really doing many Metcons, just doing a lot of strength work and a lot of bodybuilding, and then slowly started getting into more CrossFit stuff. And now that the season's starting to roll around, I feel like I'm doing CrossFit again. And he's just built me up very slowly, methodically. So feeling healthy, feeling strong, and then I'm ready to pick my fitness when I need it and not just train hard for the sake of training hard.
What do you weigh now? Do you know?
102.7.
Wow. Okay, so you're heavier than after your filthy little bulk.
yeah. Well, I went up to 105 and then I came down after New Zealand.
New Zealand was only like 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I went to Queenstown after and did a lot of activities and
took a shit.
Yeah. Took a couple massive shits. That's it.
Okay, so then because you look totally different now compared to, say, not the first Torian, but the Afro Torian, the yawning Torian. Like you looked like you were in good nick. Like you were, you were fit looking, but you were kind of stringy. You were kind of gangly and like very obviously tall. I would describe you as.
Yeah.
Whereas now you've packed on, like your shoulders are a couple of inches wider. Like you've got that kind of, you had a very narrow, what do you call it? Like an isosceles triangle, like a very narrow triangle. Whereas now you're just like a brick.
A bit more square.
Is that down to that initial bulk and then say the strength and bodybuilding and stuff that you've been doing with Bobby then since Torian, really?
Yeah, I would, if I had to nail it to one thing, I would just say training a lot more strength work, training a lot less. You're not as hungry. Yeah, you're still hungry, sorry, after your strength work, where when you do a lot of metcons and you're training hard, you don't really want to eat anything. So I had a much higher appetite, much more time to eat. And then I was also fully recovering between sessions. So it just felt so easy to pack on muscle and size. Where before, if I was training 5 days a week and hammering myself with fitness, it just felt like there was no room to put on size because I was just always stripping it.
Yeah. So when you started changing things with Bobby then, were you instantly accepting of it, or was there a period of time where you were like, are you sure this is right, Bobbert? Like, do you want to have another little look at my programming here? I think you might have made a mistake. I don't think I'm doing enough. I don't, like, 4 days isn't enough, or an hour a day isn't enough. I need to be doing more. Like, did you push back at all, or did you just say, just tell me what to do and I'll do it, I don't care?
Yeah, I was definitely the latter on that. Just tell me what to do. I don't care. You have all my trust. I'm just going to do everything you say to the best of my ability, and that's it. And I already
Why?
saw the results.
How did you, was it because of what he had done with Zach, like nearly killing him with a heart attack, or was it because was it because of his reputation in the sport? Like, how do you just hand it over so willingly when it's totally different to what you were doing?
Definitely, obviously his reputation, athletes he's worked with, and what I've seen him do with Zach, but more so the relationship he had with Zach. Obviously, like he when Zach had his thing, he was there. He was in the room the whole time, making sure he was okay, calling him every day, visiting him in the hospital. Like he really cared about just him as a person. Not doesn't give a fuck about the comp. Like couldn't care less about the comp at all. And I was like, well, that's the sort of coach you want. And he didn't have a massive group of athletes, so when he only had Zach on his male side, that was everything. He just gave him all the attention he needed. So I was like, man, that's a pretty rare coach relationship to have, where it's just you, and then he just cares about you as a human, and then the comp's like, yeah, fuck that off. So I was like, I kind of wanted that. And then I also know if you want to progress well, you have to fully believe in what you're doing. So there's no point in me going to a coach and then being skeptical of everything they're doing. It's just going to make the results worse for me. And it's going to piss the coach off. So I'm just going to go to him and say, you have full trust. I'm just going to make it work. That's it. I'm just going to do everything you say. So.
And you feel like it's working.
And it's fucking worked very well. Yeah.
What evidence have you got of it? Like, what's your markers for, wow, that's totally different?
Number one for me would obviously be the health side of things. So I was just doing 130 squat clean workouts, just no knee sleeves, minimal warm up, didn't really need a belt. Felt super healthy and strong. Even at the high body weights, my gymnastics felt similar. My times in metcoms were better. My barbell cycling feels lighter. Like I can touch and go 120s, 125s with ease. And then also just power output stuff felt better, being heavier. Obviously, like against machines and barbell stuff that's like even tests that are non-weight bearing. I could just feel like I could just send it and just recover so quickly.
Yeah.
And then the mental side of things, like the expectations and kind of belief he has in us. We're like, oh, you think of us that high? You think we can do this, or you think we have this trajectory in our season? We're like, oh, well, he thinks we're good, so we must be good. So
Yeah.
you just meet the expectations.
Is there ever any kind of tension or anything? The fact that you and Zach obviously have the exact same goal as each other.
I wouldn't use the word tension, and we also have Max on the same program, so there's three of us really going for the same goal. Now, Max joined on after. Now we kind of want each other to win, so we don't care who gets there first. We're just going to help each other get there as fast as possible, and us being together just increases the likelihood of one of us making it anyway versus us having separate coaches. Plus, it's still kind of the good old days like after school, where if you just want to have fun. So if us training together is more fun, that's all I really care about, and I think Zach's pretty much the same. It's just whoever makes it. Let's push for it. Of course, we don't really want to kill each other day to day. So we're very mindful of not doing Metcons together all the time. So this part of the season, we're not really doing our Metcons together. We'll kind of do it. I'll do it. And then we'll kind of compare and be like, yeah, we're kind of around this area. And then, but as we get into the season, that's when we'll kind of really level each other up as we start to train together in every Metcon pretty much.
Okay, so you will race each other when it gets to like the peak of the season.
Yeah, we've talked about that recently. I think it was only yesterday. They're like, if we train together and we push each other, because you can't have different strengths and weaknesses. If we level each other up to the point of each other, I don't see why one of us can't make the games. Just because how much we've improved is just astronomical.
You should start doing some of your workouts slowly to make Zach and Max think, oh, I'm way better. I can ease off. I'm going like I'm that much faster than Luke.
Yeah,
And then when
I
it
just
comes
hope
to it,
Max
you just
and then I beat my teammates. Really?
yeah, fuck them. They're only
Destroy
teammates
them.
until the competition starts. Then fuck them.
Yeah, true. They're trying to take my money. Good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
fuck those guys.
Yeah.
So what's the plan then? So you're going to do the open. Where do you train now?
CrossFit Wollongong. That's my home gym.
Is that the same gym you're always in or a different one?
Yeah, same one. Well, it originally
Wow.
started off in more central Wollongong, but now it's moved to Ferry Meadow in like 10
But
minutes away.
it's the same
Same gym,
not
same
same
owners.
building, but the same gym. Wow, okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, I haven't changed.
Oops. All right, we're talking about a different Zach. So that's cool that you're in the same fit. And you coach there too. You coach some classes.
Yeah, have some classes there, and I also do the affiliate program for the gym.
For that gym?
Yeah, for the gym I train
that's
at, I do
cool.
the affiliate stuff.
That's like a nice full circle. That's cool. Do you do it for other gyms too, the affiliate programming?
Yeah, I do Jackson McGregor's gym in Mackay, do his affiliate programming as well. And they're the only two gyms that I have at the moment. Outside of that, I just do online individual programming for a few athletes.
Okay, so you coach athletes too. Did you coach athletes before you were working with Bobby?
No, it would have been around the same time. Because after I didn't
Okay.
make the games, I was like, fuck, I got to make money somehow. What am I really passionate about? What do I love? And I was like, coaching, programming. And then like, how can I do that without kind of destroying my body? I was like, I'll do online remote coaching. So then I just set up a online coaching system through True Coach, do my subscriptions through Nui. And yeah, just been doing that pretty much since I started with Bobby as well.
What's Nui?
Nui is a payment platform where you manage subscriptions and payments for ongoing clients.
Okay. Like trying to think of another example of that. Like Shopify kind of, but like
Yeah, more like Stripe.
okay,
It's run off Stripe, so a lot of online businesses use that. It's run on the exact same platform, just set up in a really, really convenient way for online fitness coaches. So it's specifically for coaches.
How do you spell it? Newie.
It's honestly been a game changer for me.
How so? Nui.
Just managing payment subscriptions. It'll let you know when things are coming out, when things are overdue. You can do one-off payments. You can do weekly payments, and then halfway through the payment, you can cut it short. It'll go into the bank on the Nui app, and then every 3 days, it'll get sent to your account, and it'll notify you when that's happened. It'll let you know
Their website is fucking amazing.
Yeah, well, it's only an app. It's not a website, so that's just the app interface on a browser.
I bet I can find something.
Yeah. So you're probably better off accessing it on your phone. Because it's better to go through Instagram, then click on links through there to open it up.
Send service in seconds and Nui, save time. Cut admin. Buyers sign up as one tap. Sellers for personal trainers and marketing. That seems cool. Okay, so people can scan that, I guess, if they want to have a look. So you do individual coaching. You offer affiliate coaching if people want that too. And you're going to do the open, yeah?
100%, yeah.
100%. I need to talk to you about this. I can pause that. Yeah, I can. I need to talk to you about this. This
Right.
is cinematic. This is fucking gold. This is absolutely
Let's
amazing.
hear
For
it.
anyone that hasn't seen this,
Oh. That posted pretty well, actually.
it's fucking amazing. That backpack is amazing.
Yeah. Definitely. After we posted it and I watched it, I was like, oh, the backpack. It definitely wins. I was not very nonchalant
That
about
was cool.
the reaction here.
And then the fact that I'm disgusted that it wasn't caught on camera, but the
Yeah,
fact that it went
yeah.
back in, yeah, that's fucking. Because I was watching it thinking like, oh, that's pretty funny, and then it's like, oh, that's pretty funny, and then the backpack, I was like, did they record it in, like, did they play it back and rewind? How do they get it?
Yeah. It kind of did look like that, yeah.
How many takes did they take? I'm assuming
Well, for
that
the
was quick.
backpack, you don't want to know about the backpack one. But I'll just say everything was first take. That's all I'm going to say. I can't
That
spoil
was amazing
the
that went
magic.
back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so people can follow you on Instagram. You're on. Oh, we'd love to get Luke to like 10,000 followers, wouldn't we?
Oh, please.
So Luke _de_ Young. Do you pronounce it Young? Yeah.
Yeah. De Jong. Yeah.
You hit the J. Yeah.
You can do whatever you like. I've heard both. They're both correct. De Jong. De
And
Jong.
is that what is that, Dutch or what? De Jong.
Yeah. Dutch from the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
Friesland.
That's you and Max there, is it?
That's it. Yeah. We cleaned up a New Zealand champs as my 155er.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I regret screaming out the C word after I did it, but I'm not going to lie.
Didn't you tear your quad recently as well?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
When I saw you jerking that,
Oh.
I was like, wait, is this it?
Yeah, this was going through my quad tear. Oh fuck, I totally forgot I did that. Yeah, that was bad. Hey, look at that thing. Shriveled up on me.
And that was just from doing that jerk.
Yeah, back knee hit the ground, felt it go doing. And like any man does when you feel like you got a severe injury, you just kind of walk off like nothing happened. And you're like, it's good. And then I could not move or unpack my bar about 10 minutes after. Went straight to the physio and then, yeah. Oof.
Back to the box squats. Oh,
Yeah.
what's the phone about?
Oh, I was trying to film POV videos, just so it's like you're watching through my eyes of the rehab, but it just looked shit, so I just didn't use it.
There's a camera you can, hopefully you won't need it again, but there's a
Yeah.
camera you can get. Oh, I need to find out the name of it because someone was telling me about it, and it was like, it's essentially like a miner's helmet, like you mount it on your head, and it just does perfect POV.
Yeah, for your
Or, you know,
phone,
like-
but like a GoPro setup.
But it's a GoPro, I think, basically. Or maybe it is. No, it is a separate camera, I think.
Yeah.
Or it might be chest mounted either. But it's perfect for like loads of baristas use it, or porn stars,
yeah.
whoever, like OnlyFans, whoever.
Yeah. All professionals.
Yeah, okay. So go and follow Luke. We'll get
Please.
this number a bit higher. Okay, so you're doing the open. Are you going to do anything else? Are you going to do like the Challenger thing? Is it too far? Is Australia too far away? Like from where is it? Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Somewhere else, and then Copenhagen. Are they just too far?
I'll see how the qualifiers go, and then I'll give it a crack. Especially if I make that top 10 in the competitive division. But if I make the Challenger division, then I'll kind of weigh things up and see how it goes. But I think I'll have a crack at the qualifier because we got the Open, then the week for the Torian qualifier after, then immediately after is the World Fitness Project. So I might as well just have a crack if I'm feeling pretty fit, and then try and get into that top 10.
And are you going to aim for Torian, or do you think would you rather qualify online? Like, do you think it's realistic to qualify online? Would you rather qualify online, or are you just going to say, I'm not even going to think about online, I'm just going to Torian?
Yeah, I'm still weighing that up, but I'm definitely leaning towards just going for Torian because the online, you only get punished for your worst finishes. You don't get rewarded for your good ones. So if I clean and jerk 160 even, that's probably not good enough to make top 20 if there's a test like that. So it makes sense.
Explain that logic again. You only get punished for your worst and not rewarded for your best. How do you figure that?
Because the way the point system works. So obviously your placing is your points. So you can get first, and then you get 1,000th in a lift because you hit a 140 clean and jerk when the rest of the field's hitting 160, 155, and then your score's 1,003, and then you look horrendous. Where
Okay.
you do that exact same point system in a real person competition, 100, 100, 100, 0. 300 points is going to keep you in top 5, but you do that in the open and you're out of top 20.
Yeah.
So, yeah, an open athlete is not the same as a quarterfinals or games athlete.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And what's the rules with Torian? You just have to finish inside the top. No, do you even have to finish inside? You just have to do the open, but qualify for Torian, is it?
Yeah, so Torian, I think it's the only competition that uses the open as its qualifier as well, which I thought was a bit odd. But they have 4 events, 3 of them's the open. The 4th one is an individual Torian qualifier the week after.
Okay.
So 4 total events. And then it's top 30 from that. And then I think 30 to 40th, I think they're doing 10 invites of all the previous Torian Pro champs.
Yeah. Han is typing too quickly in one extra workout.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 3 open workouts and then 1 extra workout. Do you care what comes up in the open? Like, are you kind of like, it's fine?
I do not care. I feel like don't really have to try that much in the open. Just want to give it a good crack and make Torian. Like, I'm not going to be in phenomenal shape through the open at all because I want to peak for the competition. So I just feel like I just got to be good enough and have fun, stay healthy.
And do you do like Friday night lights and stuff at your place?
Yeah.
Is he frozen for everyone or just for me? I wonder, did he get a call? That sometimes happens when people get calls. Grant Mead, he never let things show at the gym. He was always positive and helping others. That's good. That's nice, isn't it? It's not Luke Parker. No, not Luke Parker. Sorry to disappoint. This guy is who I would be if I wasn't fucking hell. This guy is who I would be if I wasn't born with fetal alcohol syndrome. Wow. That's amazing. Oh, he's gone. He'll be back. He's FaceTiming me. He's apologizing, Zach. Yeah, I won't be picking. Yeah, me neither, Bartley. Won't be picking for the open either. Who cares? He brings a great energy to the pro. Oh, I fucking love to go to Torian. It looks so good. Here he is. He's back.
I'm back.
Did someone call you?
No, it just stopped working and I just had to load back in. That was bizarre.
Oh, okay. That usually happens when someone calls. It was Zach said you were FaceTiming him. I assumed you were apologizing to him. What are we talking about there? The open, yeah, okay. And then Torian, and then what else do you think? Would you go? That's obviously your focus up until whatever, May, June, and then you're probably thinking, well, hopefully everything goes to plan. I'll be busy up until July, August. So are you like planning something for beyond that? Are you planning like, Wadapalooza or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll pick 1, maybe 2, like your Wadapalooza, Rogue, and Dubai. Obviously, Wadapalooza and Dubai are much easier to qualify than Rogue, but might as well have a crack at Rogue because if you get that top 2 or 3, it'd be pretty insane event to try and go to. So I'll just go for all 3 and I'll pick 1, maybe 2. I think that'll be
I am curious. What the fuck is that is that a pipe or a snake or what over your head? See the green thing? Yeah.
Oh, that's a kayak.
Okay. It was way off.
I got a lot of random things in it.
Dude, come to Torian. Yeah. It's a like fucking 25-hour flight, but okay. All right. I think I'm done. I think I'm happy. I think I've gotten to know Luke sufficiently. I hope you guys have as well. You can go follow him on Instagram and we'll keep an eye out for you in the open and stuff. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
You said you'd come on once you qualify for the games. So I assume this means that now that you've come on means that you will inevitably qualify for the games this year. That's the
I hope so.
That's the fair logic, isn't it?
Yeah,
all right. An ad's gonna play, I think. But hang around, Luke, and we'll have a chat.
All right, guys, we are a month away from the Open officially. If you haven't signed up yet, registration is now open.
Every year over the past 12 years, I have data my performance from every single CrossFit Open, going from overweight, just guy learning how to do this stuff, all the way to, now having won the whole thing 5 times in a row.
It's open season. Just do it. We're CrossFitters. That's what we do.
All right, you guys, the Open is coming up quickly. Registration is now live, so make sure you get registered.
CrossFit Games Open registration is live now. And if you don't want to be a couch potato like me, go sign up for the Open.
We'll see you on the leaderboard.
Use hashtag Team Proven if you want to join our leaderboard.
I'll see you guys on the leaderboard.
Your best days are ahead of you. You might as well give it a go. Give it a shot.
Get your butt involved.
We're CrossFitters. That's what we do.